Hey guys, this is Sup Pup, and I'm bringing you guys another Rome Total War online battle. This is a Carthage versus Rome battle. I command the Carthaginians, and my opponent Greisca commands the Brutii Romans, or the Green Romans. So let's take a look at my army first. My army consists of 6 Sacred Band Hoplites, 4 Sacred Band Cavalry, 3 Rhodian Slingers, and 1 Libyan Spearman. You can see I made some slight adjustments from my last army of Carthage. So you can see that I have moved 2 sets of slingers over to my left flank, and I will show you why as we get to look at my opponent's army. You can see I lined up my army with my slingers in the front line, followed by my Sacred Band Hoplites, followed by the set of Libyan Spearmen, and then my cavalry. Let's take a look at his army now. His army consists of 4 sets of Roman archers, 6 sets of urban cohorts, and 5 sets of Praetorian cavalry. And you can see that he placed his cavalry all on his right flank. He placed none on his left. So that is the reason I decided to move 2 sets of slingers over to my left flank, and that was try to wear down his cavalry. But he immediately responded by putting all of his archers in front of his cavalry, so I'd have to worry about them, which was a very sound strategy because he did have a range advantage over me. So you can see that his cavalry is pretty safe for the moment. He is also moving up his urban line to confront me. So at this point, I decided to move up my Sacred Band line because I definitely want to get the infantry fight going soon because he does have that range advantage, and if I just sit back, he will end up destroying me. But my opponent is the one who ends up taking initiative, and he pushes forward more than me, but you'll see I'm the one who actually does the engagement. Here you can see he launched his cavalry towards my slingers, and I thought he was going for them, so I did pull them back. Turns out he was just going to deploy them on my flank. But he leaves them there, and that's not a very good idea by him, considering I'm going to stop my slingers pretty much right now, and you're going to see his cavalry are going to get completely picked apart by my slingers. And he doesn't notice this for quite some time, and he ends up losing quite a bit of cavalry. So you're going to see my slingers throw their rocks, and it's going to do some pretty devastating damage to his cavalry. You can see that I believe 4 cavalrymen dropped there. And he really should have taken the initiative quicker with them to move. You can see that he is somewhat started to move, but I do get quite a few volleys on them. Here I decided to take the initiative with my infantry, and I'm going to push forward with my whole line of pikes. And he did not have pillow mode on, so he is going to be unable to throw any spears at me. You can also see I lined my men side to side, and this was to not allow the Romans to push through gaps in my line. And I usually typically do that. Here you can see I launched 2 sets of my Sacred Band Cavalry past his left flank, right at his archer line, because they were unsupported by his cavalry. You can see his cavalry are way out, behind my lines even, and they're still getting picked apart by my slingers. And my infantry line has now engaged his urbans, and it's going fairly well for me, but I do need to get cavalry support in there because urbans are quite tough. Here he does catch one of my Sacred Band Cavalry, and I believe he does rout him, and yes he does. But 1 set of my Sacred Band Cavalry is around the flank, and I have sent the other 2 sets around the flank as well. And these guys are going to get a vicious hammer and anvil strike by my cavalry, and they're just going to get very much so destroyed. And urbans are really tough, but you can see my whole cavalry component is now smashing into the backs of his urbans. And there goes his general, and it's a mash rout now. And you can already see, there's the mash rout I was looking for. All of his units, except 1, has routed off the field, but his cavalry is fully intact, so I still need to be careful. As well as his ranged force. His ranged force is still very much so alive. So I still need to be careful, and he is using his cavalry to great effectiveness right now at dealing with my cavalry. And I really don't want that, because I need cavalry to finish off his archers, because I don't really feel like chasing them all around the map, and it's not a very good plan to chase archers around the map with your Sacred Band. So I'm trying to fight off his cavalry with everything I've got, and he actually does accomplish a lot of success in destroying quite a bit. Here you can see my Libyan Spearmen, and they were very inactive in this battle, which I'm kind of bummed about because I usually use them to pretty great effectiveness. In this battle they didn't do much, but here I finally decide to activate them, and they're going to rush right into his Praetorian cavalry. And if there's one thing Libyans are great at, it's fending off cavalry. So I do sufficient damage to that unit, and he is able to pull out that unit from my entrapment. Here I'm going to launch a set of Sacred Band into melee with their little daggers, and they're actually going to catch one of his sets Praetorians, but he's going to rush out of there. So you can see that the battle is going pretty well for me now. I have most of my infantry still intact because of those vicious hammer and anvil and the mash rout that occurred afterwards. You can see that most of his ranged compartment is still intact though, almost all of it to be honest. It didn't really suffer many casualties, and I was quite surprised about that in this part of the battle because of my vicious cavalry assault that I launched right on it. I suppose I did get some routing, but it wasn't as much as I was hoping for. You can see that he is starting to just like pick away at me with his range, and that's not what I wanted. Here you just missed a couple minutes of the fight just because I didn't really feel like just showing me getting completely surrounded, and it just took quite a while. It's just a few minutes later. But here, I decide to rush my Sacred Band pikemen right into his archer line just because his archers have been firing this whole match, and they were exhausted at this point. And believe it or not, after the 3 minutes that went up, my Sacred Band were fresh again, and I knew that even though it's Sacred Band and archers, and the archers are very light, if my guys are fresh and his are exhausted, it's going to be not much of a contest for my Sacred Band to be able to catch them and kill them. So I have decided to form this slight new, I guess, circle or square or something. It's not really so much. I had to do it, otherwise I would have been decimated. At this point in the fight, I decided to turn on double speed just because not much happens. You can see my Libyans rush out to my right, and they're just to engage cavalry. I do have some success in that point though, but yeah, you can just see his archers are pretty much surrounding me. You can see that I just got a rout, and I am engaging the other set, but he is able to retreat him out. So at this point, I decide to finally rush again with my infantry, and it's going to be so great effectiveness because my guys are fresh and his are exhausted. So I'm going to charge with this Sacred Band right into the running away Roman archers, and it's going to prove no challenge because they're going to rout instantly. And here he throws the remnants of this one squadron of cavalry into me, and they hold their ground for much longer than I thought they should have. But here you can see in the background another set of Praetorian cav with more men are coming, but I am able to draw my sarissas in time to really impale them, and it's going to rout them immediately. And then you're going to see the one on my backs just rout immediately after their morale loss from seeing other units rout. Here you can see that I have Sacred Band fending off these archers, and I'm going to charge them now into melee with them. So I'm just trying to outrun his archers and quickly destroy them before they're able to launch too many arrows into me. Here you can see I have huge success, and I'm able to kill a lot of them. Here was a regrouped unit of urban cohorts that ended up, for whatever reason, being able to come back to the fight. I really didn't expect them to, because I dealt some serious bullets to those urbans, but they're the only ones that came back, and they're dealt a quick demise after the morale shock of all of their men running. Here you can see in the very background, my set of Sacred Band are still chasing after the Roman archers, and they're finally going to catch up. This one unit of Sacred Band was more tired than the rest because I had been running them more than any other unit. But they finally do reach the Roman archers because Roman archers were just way too tired. You can see that there's only a couple more sets of units that my opponent has left on the field. And I really respect my opponent for fighting to the last man, and he did the best he could with the troops that he had left. He really did a great job in using his archers to full strength, but they were just too tired in the end. Here I see his cavalry coming, so I'm going to put my men into a dense formation and drop as many sarissas as I can. And I do drop some, but it wasn't that many, but I'm still able to fend off his cavalry. We're still engaging though, and also you can see that my troops just gained experience. So that's going to cause the enemy cavalry to rout. And in the back over here, you still see I have success over there. And he now has only one more unit left, and it is a unit of archers. And at this point, my opponent decides to stop running as I launch my Libyan spearmen right on into his archer line. So my Libyans actually get the last kill of the game. They may not have been very active this battle, but they are the ones who end the fight for me. So I was happy to finally put them to sufficient use. So his archers are able to hold their ground for a mere second, but then they're going to rout. And like I was saying before, I absolutely love this fight. It was a lot of fun. I know I used Carthage in my last battle, but I don't know if you know this or not, Carthage is my favorite faction. So I do usually use them, but not always. Anyway guys, I hope you like this battle. I'll bring you guys more. See ya.